Hello Aries and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of it. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. Concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. These energies can absolutely be swapped. So if you end up resonating more with the energy to my right than to my left, or if you're a cross watcher then vice versa, just know that that is totally fine and totally normal. These are general readings. They are not here to resonate for everyone fully. So please remember to take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. As always, I have 3 different decks that we'll be diving into for each side of this connection, but I've already pulled the overall oracle card and clarified that. So we'll jump into that in a second. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Try to keep that under a minute, right at. All right, Aries, on your side of this connection, you have boundaries with the strength in reverse. This connection has really affected your confidence. I feel like it has taken away from your sense of self-power, and I feel like it has replaced a lot of what, like, your confidence with insecurity. Now, it not necessarily replaced. Let me phrase that. A lot of your insecurity has been brought to the surface through this connection. With this boundaries card, I feel like it has been really difficult for you to set boundaries with this connection for some reason. I don't necessarily know if that's because you feel like the pull to this person is too strong, or they don't respect your boundaries or something. I feel like it is very difficult for you to set proper boundaries with this person. It just feels like they make you just not feel as confident. It's interesting. This person has shadow with the Knight of Wands in reverse. This person is completely acting from their shadow side, their unhealed side, and sabotaging things for themselves. So this connection, I feel like, is really it's really poking at both people's insecurities. And how that's handled is obviously going to manifest in different ways because these are two different human beings, but the insecurities within itself could be very similar. This could be very, very mirrored, but we'll see when we dive into tarot, like if the cards kind of mirror each other. But I do feel like both of your shadow sides are kind of being poked at right now, because in between this connection, you have jealousy with the 8 of Swords. Now, I don't see this jealousy card as being like what you typically think of when you think of jealousy, but when you're jealous of someone or something, usually that jealousy stems from you not feeling good enough for what that person has, right? And so what I'm reading this card as is actually this level of feeling not good enough being brought to the surface, like this limiting belief of not being enough or being inadequate being brought to the surface for both people. Now, again, the way that the other person is handling it is obviously going to be different than the way that it's affecting your reality, but the limiting belief within itself can be similar. So let's see, Aries, what you are dealing with. This is Aries' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Aries' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. One more. Aries' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. This is for Aries' side of this connection. What does Aries need to know about their side of this connection? Interesting. 2 of Pentacles with the 7 of Cups. When it comes to this connection, I'm actually reading more about the imagery, like more into the imagery of this card, because if you look at this 2 of Pentacles, it looks like she's almost like performing or doing like an act. And then the 7 of Cups, I'm really focused on this mask that he's wearing here. She's wearing, I don't know. It's a faceless person. And it feels like this person makes you feel like you have to be someone you're not, or like you have to overperform or be better yeah, that goes back to that energy of not feeling good enough. It's like the energy of this person makes you feel like you need to be more than you are in order to be accepted or deserving. And I feel like that is bringing up that feeling of not being good enough for who you are, right? Like you could be valued for, in this connection, more for like what you do or what you bring to the table or how intelligent you are, attractive you are, but not for who you are. And I feel like that's kind of where your sense of confidence is being affected. Aries side of this connection. It is in reverse. Ace of Swords in reverse. With Knight of Wands. The Ace of Cups in reverse. You're having a hard time seeing this connection for what it is, because I feel like you are really have really put yourself out there with this connection, been very vulnerable, possibly very honest, very authentic, and you haven't received that back. And so I feel like because of that, you then try and adapt to that by being more than who you are to gain that like acceptance or love from this person that I feel like they're not giving you. Now, that within itself, I mean, that's very common for us to do, right? So there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's no judgment there. Just to clarify, like oftentimes when if you think of your energy cup as this, right? This is as much energy as you can receive and as much energy as you can give. But here's the thing. You can usually only really receive energy from what you give energy to. If you give energy to someone that is meant to be in your life, that aligns with your energy, and they reciprocate that energy back to you, say you give 10% of your energy to them, they give 10% back. That's a good reciprocal ebb and flow there. But if you're dealing with someone who doesn't reciprocate, what usually happens is, say you start, and I'm just throwing out numbers, but say you start giving them 10% of your energy and they only give you 5% back. So then you give 11%. And they still only give 5. So you give 12, you only give 5, 13, 14. And you keep increasing your energy, but then over time, they start liking the amount of energy you're giving them and realizing they don't have to reciprocate. So they start decreasing what they give. So at the end of the day, you start giving 30, 40, 50% of your energy to someone and they're giving you back pretty much nothing. And the reason that happens is because we feel like if we give more, we'll receive more. But the more we give and accept less, the more we actually reward receiving less. And therefore, the other person starts decreasing the energy they give. And then because they're like, well, why do I have to give anything if this person's going to give me what I want and I barely have to give anything. And the less I give, the more they give, then heck, why give anything at all? And no, this isn't taking place on a conscious level, but just, if you've got to pay attention to your energy cup and make sure that you're not giving more than you're receiving, because at that point you're accepting less than what you're giving. And that is affirming, this is all I deserve. And obviously that's not true. And so I feel like what's happening here is you've been giving to this in a way of feeling like if you give more, you're going to receive more. But then you're consistently met with less. And that's why I feel like there's a little bit of an imbalance here. Aries energy toward this person. Aries energy toward this person, please. See, a lot of your fear and insecurity is being brought to the surface through this, with the moon here. But it's actually helping things turn in your favor, whether or not you realize it. It's just really important that you don't try to chase it, because what I just described there, the giving more and receiving less, that's a chaser-runner dynamic. The more you chase, the more you push something away. And chasing comes with an underlying fear-based energy of saying, if I don't receive this from you, then everything that I've given goes to waste, or, then all of my insecurities are going to be validated. And that, you don't want that have that underlying energy when you're investing in something, because that is going to push someone away. And again, teach them that they don't have to give you anything and you'll give them everything. And so there's a big lesson to be learned here that's coming through. Let's get more for Aries side of this connection. Aries side of this connection. Aries side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. What? The King of Wands. That's this person. They are not very good to you. King of Swords in reverse can be an energy of being pretty manipulative. Being deceptive, playing games, just kind of overall being dishonest. And I feel like that is what keeps leading to this strength in reverse, to your lack of confidence, because you keep ending up in this Five of Cups energy, in this disappointment energy. You have the Three of Swords, you have the Eight of Cups in reverse. It's like this hopeless, heartbreaking kind of energy that you keep getting left with, because you're giving so much and you're being met with so little, and your insecurities of not feeling like you are enough, or not feeling like you are deserving, are being validated through this connection. And that is not your fault. That is also not any indication of what your worth actually is. But remember, 95%, and I say this probably in every reading I do at this point, but 95% of your movements, choices, and decisions come from your subconscious. Only 5% of the way that you interact with your reality is conscious. And those 95%, that 95% of you is a product of what you've experienced. So if you've experienced betrayal or abandonment or just general not so great situations when it comes to loving relationships, starting from when you were a kid, then you have internalized those situations with beliefs like, I am undeserving, I am not capable of love, the love that I deserve is not possible for me, or whatever the case might be. And so as you grow up, you start to react and respond and make decisions based on that 95% of you that aligns with not being deserving. And so oftentimes we attract these connections that bring those limiting beliefs to the surface. And there is a part of your limiting belief system that is, you are not, it's you're not deserving, or you're not enough. I feel like that's what's really coming through, is the belief that you are not enough is being really projected onto you through this connection. And so I feel like this person is a really big lesson for you in realizing that you are enough, and you don't have to prove your worth to anybody. But oftentimes we prove our worth when we think that that's the only way that we're ever going to receive love, right? If you've had to prove your worth growing up, or to your parents always saw, loved you for your accomplishments, but never really loved you for like who you were, like that could be another thing too, right? It always starts in childhood. But there is more going on here than you realize. All right, Aries side of this connection. This is Aries side of the connection to the person they're dealing with. See, there's a lot you don't know about this connection with the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, I don't know if this is like a deception. No, it's not a deception. There's information that you don't know, that like the universe is holding back from you. What is the Seven of Swords saying? Seven of Swords for Aries. The Five of Wands with the Eight of Swords in reverse. Okay, so here's that Eight of Swords, right? In the middle, and then you have this Eight of Swords in reverse. This Eight of Swords, the limiting belief that is being really brought up in this connection, and we just kind of talked about it, is the belief that you are not enough. Well, what you're not seeing is that the purpose of this connection is to bring the fact that you are not enough to the surface, because it is part of the resistance to your abundance, that resistance being the 95% of those beliefs that don't align with what you want to experience, but align with what you have experienced or what you fear experiencing. So this connection is bringing that to the surface so that you can release it, so that you can get closer to the love that you are ultimately deserving of. But that's being hidden from you. So right now, what you're just experiencing is pain and insecurity and fear and, lack of power and all of the stuff that you're dealing with right now. So I want this reading to be a sign of hope for you to understand that this is not like This connection, although it's validating your fear, it's not validating the truth that you are not enough. There is not, that is the truth and what you believe are two very different things. In fact, there's this need to get those in alignment. The truth is that you are deserving of everything that you deserve when it comes to love, of everything you want when it comes to love. You are deserving of the relationship you want, romantic. You are, in a romantic sense, you're deserving of the relationships you want. In a friendship sense, in a familial sense, you're deserving of all of that. Your belief says the opposite. And so when you can align the truth with your belief is when you actually start to manifest what it is that you deserve. Aries side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Aries side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. The whole point is to release you from this limiting belief, from the strength in reverse, from not feeling like you are enough. You are more than enough, Aries. And this person is not going to dictate whether or not you are. They don't need to be there's no one on this earth, who is going to be the person that decides whether or not you are enough. Well, I guess there is one person. That person is you. You are the only person who decides you are enough. And when you make that decision, the universe will reflect that back to you. But it obviously takes time to get there because you're retraining a belief system that you have spent a lifetime validating through, these types of experiences. And what you've experienced and how you've internalized those beliefs, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that if you had parents that didn't love you for who you were. It's not your fault if you've experienced relationships that ended in abandonment or betrayal or whatever the case is. Those things that have happened to you, they're not your fault. It is, however, your responsibility to get to the core of the belief that attracted those experiences into your life so that you can heal it and not have to deal with it anymore. Hence the journey of life, right? All right, let's look at this person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries, please. This person's energy toward Aries, please. Clarifying shadow with the Knight of Wands in reverse. This person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries, please. Oh my goodness, specific. What is going on here? Huh. I want more on this before I speak on it. You have the Queen of Cups and that Nine of Wands. Can I get more on this? The Queen of Swords. Ooh, and the Ten of Swords. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm looking at this Nine of Wands in reverse and remembering that this person, they have an unhealed side of them, right? The sabotagey side of themselves. They view you as this Queen of Cups, someone who is very nurturing, very caretaker-esque. And I feel like they're really drawn to you because of that. Because I feel like they look up to you, or you're a very nurturing presence in their life, so on and so forth. But I feel like they have a tendency to allow their self-sabotage, to allow their 95% of them to make the decisions for them. And so that can come in the form of sabotaging a connection through pushing someone away or running from the connection or creating arguments or cheating on people or whatever the case is, because someone who doesn't feel deserving, and that's the thing, right? Someone who doesn't feel deserving of love is the person who messes it up, right? Typically, which reflects back to the other person that they're not deserving of love. And so when both people are in a situation like that, both people, and this is what I was trying to say in the beginning, have that belief that they are not worthy. And this person is reflecting that back at you. Let's get more here. This person's energy toward Aries, please. This person's energy toward Aries, please. There's that Ace of Swords in reverse. See, I knew we were going to start mirroring with the Three of Swords. See, they don't, like, neither of you are seeing this connection for what it is. This connection and the way that it's being perceived is being perceived through the lens of your fear and insecurity, and allowing that to control the movement, choices, and decisions in it. Now, that's typically the way that people are in relationships, right? Like for me, I've been in plenty of relationships where I allowed my insecurities and my fear to make every single decision for me. In my current relationship, I have to actively fight against letting my insecurity be the driving force of my movements, choices, and decisions. And it's hard, even for someone who, like me, I'm very aware of my self-sabotaging behavior, very aware of it. Sometimes it's still hard to fight against it because there's a part of me that is so used to these like automatic reactions to situations that I have to get there and I have to intervene and I have to say, no, stop sabotaging. And it's hard to do. And so this person has a tendency to do just that. What they want, what the 5% of them is telling them, and what they actually do and say are at odds with each other. And that doesn't mean, like, you can have empathy for this person and understand all day long why they do the things they do. That also doesn't mean you have to put up with it, right? Unconditional love and empathy does not equal unconditional tolerance. So keep that in mind. All right, this person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries. See, they want this Ten of Cups. They want this long-term kind of situation here, but they're also emotionally immature with the Page of Cups. So they want something that they're not capable of having, which is kind of what I just said, right? So this person, at the very least, it's like what they want and what they do are at complete odds with each other. So it's like they can say, I really want, this relationship to work out, but then turn around and like sabotage or like screw it up. And I feel like that and then it reflects back on you of like, man, I'm not good enough because this person can't show up for me even though they want to, right? It's like, this has absolutely nothing to do with your worth at all. Now, of course, it feels that way because that's how these kinds of things work. But this person's lack of self-worth is reflecting back on you as where you don't feel worthy. So there is a lot going on here for both of you. That is for sure. Truth, or this person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries, please. This person's energy toward Aries. There's that inner child. See, this connection is happening for the benefit of both of you. Because it's bringing up, I feel like, childhood stuff. Like the way that you learned to love and be loved in childhood is being reflected at you in this connection in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, because there's the Ten of Swords. This person, there could have been betrayal. It could have been pretty intense too, but it just feels like they hurt people, right? And I feel like that's what this is kind of coming down to, is this person's been hurt before and now they don't know how to trust or how to be loved, and so they carry that into the relationships that they do want. This person's energy toward Aries. Now again, you can have empathy for them all day long, but that does not mean that they are like meant for you, or that them healing is the only way you're going to receive love, because that's not true. This person's energy toward Aries, please. Things fell apart because of their behavior. King of Cups in reverse. I feel like okay, I say things fell apart because of their behavior, but I also don't like ever putting the blame on one person, especially when you're dealing with a connection, because there's a lot that goes on there. But I do feel like their emotional immaturity was the root of a lot of the issues. And it came down to maybe even sometimes they were a little emotionally manipulative. Could have been dealing with a water sign. I know we've seen other cards, but we have this Queen of Cups and King of Cups, so that would be Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Definitely do not have to be, but could be. And I feel like things in this connection kind of started falling apart. Now, even if you're like still with them, they fell apart. I don't know. I feel like it, and it's because of this King of Cups in reverse energy, which is really, I'm really feeling attached to this Page of Cups energy. It's like their emotional immaturity was kind of the root of why things happened, why things fell apart. But there's a lot to be learned here. This person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries, please. What does Aries need to know about this person's energy toward them? They're trying to help you complete a cycle. There's a cycle for both of you, but it is a triggering one. Oh, it's a very triggering cycle. I want more on this cycle. What is this cycle? This connection is helping Aries close. Clarifying the world here. Clarifying the world for Aries. Clarifying this world card for Aries. The Five of Wands. So it's that resistance to your abundance. It's helping both of you work through the resistance to your abundance. I'll get more on how in the middle of this connection. So I am going to hop on over to the extended. You have jealousy with that 8 of Swords. We're going to pull 9 different messages here. And then I have an advice card to pull at the end. Thank you so much, Aries, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Aries.